Welcome. In this video, we're diving into every zombie movie from 2018. If you're looking for the best zombie horror films, top hits, flops, and hidden gems, you're in the right place. This is the ultimate breakdown of every zombie movie from 2018, from blockbuster thrillers to forgotten indie horror. You'll find both epic undead carnage and low-budget disasters that should be avoided. And at the end of this episode, there's a movie you've probably never heard of, but it might just be your next favorite. Redcon 1. When a secret military experiment goes out of control, the world is plunged into chaos. A group of soldiers is trapped in a deserted base, cut off from the world, with no way to call for help. They don't know what exactly happened, but something is clearly wrong. Strange noises are heard at night, and people begin to disappear without a trace. The radio is silent, supplies are running out, and the darkness of the corridors hides something that no one can explain. Fear and paranoia grow, and everyone begins to suspect that they are not alone there. They soon discover that what surrounds them is no longer human. Every nook and cranny of the base may hide answers, but the truth they learn may be far worse than they could have imagined. In their fight for survival, they must face not only an unknown threat, but also their own fear, and time is running out. Patient Zero. An epidemic of a deadly virus turns humans into aggressive, bloodthirsty beasts. The world is plunged into chaos, and the few survivors are hiding in underground bunkers, desperately seeking a cure. One of them is Morgan, who, unlike the others, has not been infected, but can communicate with the infected. His extraordinary ability gives hope of finding the so-called Patient Zero, the first person with whom the pandemic began. Together with a team of scientists, Morgan leads a race against time to stop the spread of the virus. However, the closer they get to the truth, the more it turns out that the infection is not just a disease, but something much more terrifying. Amid bloody clashes, mysteries, and unexpected twists, the heroes discover that the threat may not only be the virus, but also those who are trying to control it. Office Uprising. A catastrophic mistake occurs at a corporation involved in the production of experimental weapons. A special energy drink that was supposed to increase the productivity of employees instead turns them into violent, bloodthirsty psychopaths. In this office nightmare, full of chaos and violence, only a few people manage to preserve the remnants of sanity. Among them is Desmond, an ordinary worker who until now has rather avoided any effort. Now, in order to survive, he will have to use his cleverness and ability to improvise, traversing corridors full of crazed co-workers armed with everything they can get their hands on. In this bloody butchery, there is no room for rules. All that matters is survival. Rampant. The bloody struggle for survival takes place during the 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐩𝐭𝐞𝐫𝐬 dynasty, where the country is plunged into chaos not only by treacherous plots, but also by a mysterious plague. The dead do not stay in their graves. They rise up and pounce on the living, turning the kingdom into an arena of bloody hell. Prince 𝐂𝐴𝐚 returns to this world, who after years in exile, has no idea how deep the corruption and horror go. He faces a choice: fight for the throne or save the people from a horde of bloodthirsty beasts. As night falls, the monsters grow stronger and the chances of survival grow slimmer. Fencing, intrigue, and constant suspense weave together in this story, where honor and courage are the only hope in the face of impending doom. The night eats the world. Sam wakes up after a party in a Paris apartment and discovers that the city has turned into a nightmare. The streets are empty, the buildings abandoned, and hordes of hungry zombies roam outside the windows. Cut off from the world, he barricades himself in a building where the only sound is his own breathing and the incessant tapping of the dead on the door. Days turn into weeks, and loneliness becomes as threatening as the monsters outside. In order not to fall into madness, he creates the illusion of normalcy, talks to mannequins, and conducts daily rituals. When the hope of escape appears, he faces a difficult choice: stay in a familiar prison, or risk everything and face the unknown. The dark. The forest hides many secrets, but some of them should remain forgotten. Deep in the thicket, in an abandoned house, hides something that should not exist. A girl with empty eyes, with a face covered with rotting skin, whose heart stopped beating long ago. Mia is no ordinary child. She is cursed, trapped between life and death, feeding on those who dare to enter her territory. One day, she comes across a boy, blind, wounded, broken. He doesn't run away. He doesn't beg for his life. Instead, she finds her reflection in his darkness. Two destroyed souls, one cursed forest, and a silence in which echoes of old screams can still be heard. Can the monster save someone else when she herself has long been lost? Overlord. The darkness of night shrouds a French village, and the smell of death and burning is in the air. A few hours before the Allied landing in Normandy, American soldiers are dropped into enemy territory with one goal: to destroy a Nazi radio tower. However, as they approach the mysterious complex, they discover something no man should ever see. Underground, in claustrophobic tunnels, German scientists are conducting horrific experiments, turning people into deformed, bloodthirsty beasts who know no pain or fear. This is no ordinary war. It is a nightmare from which there is no escape. Amid the screams of tortured victims and the sounds of monstrous creatures hunting in the darkness, one thing is certain: death does not mean the end, but only the beginning of horror. Day of the Dead. Bloodline. The dark corridors of a military bunker hide the remnants of humanity, which is desperately fighting for survival. On the surface, hell. The world has been overrun by monstrous, blood-hungry creatures, the remnants of former humans. Among the survivors is Zoe, a doctor who knows the biggest nightmare of her life. The undead that once stalked her still remember her scent and will not rest until they get her. He's not like other zombies, intelligent, clever, and obsessed. When he makes his way to the shelter, it's no longer about simple survival. It's about hunting. Locked inside concrete walls, doomed to the mercy of an unstoppable being, people face unimaginable choices. Blood, panic, breaths shattered by fear. There is no room for hope in this world. But now, it's time for the final movie on our list, and it's one you might have never heard of. A haunting and atmospheric take on the zombie genre. Ever After presents a world where humanity has almost entirely vanished. In the last two surviving settlements of Germany, two women must venture beyond the safety of their walls, facing not only the undead, but the crushing weight of isolation. This isn't your typical zombie bloodbath. It's a slow-burning, deeply emotional journey into what it truly means to survive. Could this hidden gem be the most unique zombie film of 2018? Let me know in the comments if you think it's worth watching. That's the full list of 2018 zombie movies. As you can see, this year gave us both amazing horrors and total flops. Which ones have you seen? Or maybe you discovered a new hidden gem. Drop a comment below. If you enjoyed this ranking, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss future movie lists.